Hi, welcome to the Work Hard, Play Hard, and Give Back, a real estate podcast. I'm Mike Litzner, your host and broker of Coldwell Banker American Homes, and I have with us here as our guest today, Nancianne Genduso, a longstanding real estate agent at American Homes for, 20 years now?
Oh, a little over 20 years.
Over 20 years.
But yes, definitely. I hit that 2-decade mark.
Yes, exactly, exactly. So happy to have you on the show today, Nancy. Thank you for joining us. Just before we get started, I just want to remind everybody, please stay to the end. We have our drop the mic question, and please like and subscribe whenever you get a chance. So Nancy, let me ask you real quickly. So, it's a real estate podcast. So why real estate? How'd you get into real estate?
Well, thank you so much for having me. I appreciate you. I adore you and Tom, and I've stayed with the company so long because they are amazing to work for. It started actually me searching for a home with my beautiful wife, Denise, over 20 years ago. We were searching, and I was like, I found this really intriguing. I really like the process. I connected with it. I love old homes. I like, talking to people, just going through the whole transaction. And after we closed on our house, basically I said, all right, I'm going to get my real estate license. Took the course, passed the test, and the rest is history. I've been doing it and loving it and enjoying the whole process.
Yeah.
Really
so what excites you most about the real estate business anyway? What is it? The people, the contact?
It's all of it. I really like the interaction with people. I like educating them and taking them through the process. It's a big, big decision to own or buy or relocate or invest in a property. A lot of people don't know what it takes to be a realtor and all the behind the scenes and what you need to do. So I just like, talking to people, walking them through the process. This is what you need to expect depending on the market that we're in, and give them, the update of like, listen, like in the market now, everything's going over asking. There's bidding wars. How do we prepare our buyers to be competitive in the market? How do we give them that edge? How do I take them and make them rise above the pack to make them stand out and get an accepted offer? And if you're a seller, you're in a great position. But I have a seller now who needs to sell and buy. So that is extra layer on top of it, and to guide them, because they're totally freaking out. They're like, how am I going to find something? So again, it's one step at a time. We don't want to get too ahead of ourselves, but we get that education in the beginning. We sit down, have a conversation. Hey, this is what we expect. This is what the business is going to call for to get them as prepared as possible.
You have a teaching background.
Correct.
Right. So you have a master's. What's your master's in?
My master's is in deaf and hard of hearing, special education. So I went to LIU downtown Brooklyn. I was on a full scholarship Division I athlete for softball. Yeah. And so was my brother. Hey, Mike, out there.
Hey, Mike.
Hey, Mike. So he was a southpaw pitcher, and I was a second baseman because of my little size. So I got my undergraduate in elementary education and social science. I did a dual major. And my master's I did at Hunter College in special ed. I was on an academic scholarship for that. Yeah.
So it's interesting. You really touched on two different things that I think translate well into real estate. So one would be sports.
Absolutely.
So would you consider yourself a competitive person?
Absolutely. To be a Division I athlete, you have to have a certain personality, a drive, a dedication. Growing up, I'll give kudos to my brother. He watched me a lot. And so he really was my catalyst, because I was able to get in there with the boys and keep my own, whether it be basketball, whether it be hacky sack, whether it be, stickball, stoop ball. I was able to keep up. And I think that's really what led me to, where I am today. I mean, I was on a traveling team, all boys traveling team. I went to Catholic school in Brooklyn. Yeah. And so I played with the boys. And to me, it was like, this is what I'm supposed to do.
Right.
And so I just dedicated myself to that. And I was like, hey, I like this. I'm good at it. And then I made this all-boys traveling team. I was the first girl to make an all-boys traveling team. Okay. Until they told me in high school that basically I have to switch from, before I got into high school, I have to switch from baseball to softball, which was like crushing. I was like, really? I was like, I only played baseball and I had to switch to softball. And it was like...
Softball's pretty competitive at that level
no,
too,
it is. And fast pitch, absolutely. But it was just that transition, thinking that, oh my God, I was only doing this and now I have to relearn and do that, do something else. But listen, it's all good. And it really set the tone for who I am today, and really having that passion, that drive, that
competitiveness.
Yeah,
it kind of
growing.
It helps you compete in a competitive marketplace like real estate is.
Yeah, I'm like, bring it on.
Yeah.
I'm doing it.
Yeah, excellent. They say teachers make really good real estate agents, actually. And I believe the reason they translate so well is, you know, as a teacher, I'm assuming, and you can correct me if I'm wrong here, that you have to communicate ideas and information to a group of students, you know, regardless of what size of the class is. And with, you know, being an agent, you have to communicate to buyers and sellers, you know, consumers who are making huge investments, you know, spending. Decision, yeah. So what parallels do you see, you know, from your teaching experience that have helped you be a better agent?
Being organized, being able to, again, follow up, communication, team building, organization, all that comes into play because you have to relay what you know and impart that on the people who really don't know anything. So you really have to take them from step one all the way to the end. And of course, in the home buying, it's that 15 step. You have to take them through and then really teach them along the way. Like, this is the next step, this is what we're going to do, so that they really have an understanding of what they're getting themselves into. So there's a lot of different skills that, you know, teachers that definitely translate over.
Yeah, deploy.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, we're going to go. I'm going to take you and we're going to make you knowledgeable. After this, you're going to, you know, be ready to take it on yourself.
Yeah, exactly. What lane do you see yourself in? Where does Nancianne, you know, succeed? What makes you, what about the business is more, brings out that passion in you?
I think it's just taking what I know and taking it to like the maximum level and being able to, you know, I just love just connecting with people. Just, again, it's that education background, just letting them know what's going on, being available for them, picking up the phone, answering texts, getting back to people in a timely fashion, setting up those appointments, making everything as seamless as possible for the buyer or the seller to say, oh my God, they're very on top of it. Well, yes, because they don't know what we go through behind the scenes and everything that we do to get them that appointment, to set that up, to make sure that it looks like, hey, we're just going on an appointment and we just set these things up and go through, and then, you know, the next step in setting up and talking to attorneys and making sure the communication is always open and making sure everyone's doing what they're supposed to do. You know, so that's really our A-type personalities, I would say.
It is. Yes, it is.
To make sure that, I know we project manage a lot, and I also call myself a project manager. I tell people I make sure, again, I look over everything, making sure that, you know, even though they're supposed to be doing something, are they really doing it? Making that call. Hey, did that go out? Again, there's a lot of different pieces to it that people just don't realize.
You know, what's interesting is, like, a really good agent will make it look easy to a seller or a buyer in the process. And we know it's not. It's definitely not.
I know.
But that's the secret sauce. So when you can make it seem easy to them, you know, that means you're killing it. You're doing a great job behind the scenes.
Thank you. I appreciate that. But it's also for your teaching and guidance too. I mean, Coldwell Banker offers phenomenal training and just the camaraderie. Love the people in my office, our manager. And it's just a joy to work every day. And being around people that uplift
professionals, right?
Right, professionals that are also just uplifting, and that there's not competitiveness, even though, you know, you would think that there's competitiveness and it should be, but it's not. It's more like, all right, how can I help you out? How can we help each other? How can we bring each other to the next level? And make Coldwell Banker, you know, the great company that it is, and people want to come in and join.
Yeah, I think company culture is one of those things that gets overlooked because, you know, there's always a different training class and stuff, but, you know, I always say there's two sides to learning. So there's the information side, but there's the application side, which really gets overlooked very often and stuff. So some of the best opportunities to grow, I think, are just by brainstorming with other professionals who share the same challenges.
Right.
So I love what you were saying about how the crew in your office, as we would call it.
The crew. Everyone loves getting together. Everyone enjoys one another's company, and it takes it outside the office. I mean, we have bowling nights, we have axe throwing nights, we, you know, go out and socialize, we go to people's houses, they have parties. I mean, it's just a beautiful thing to have a company that is so supportive and that everyone gets along, and it's fun and it's uplifting. Yeah.
You know, it's funny because I remember attending a convention, and my wife had asked something about, she's like, you know, you want to come? And she goes, well, you know, you guys kind of like sit around at the bar talking real estate all the time. I'm like, yeah,
That's my thing, right?
It's kind of like where you get your best learning from. It's that networking and really connecting with other people who share those same challenges.
Right, and you're always learning something. You think you know everything, but really you pick up something from someone talking, or you ask them a question, and they're always willing to help you out and give you that answer.
Yeah.
So how many offices do we have now? I want to tell people, because you started off with what, one office?
Oh yeah, Tommy, 36 years already. So
36 years.
Yeah, 36
That's
years.
A testament to this man right here.
So we have 23 locations now and about 1,200 agents. So
I mean, it's great. And so you keep acquiring. So why do you feel like you want to keep acquiring companies? What is the big game plan for Coldwell Banker American Homes?
So I think it's the focus is on growing market share and making sure our brand is seen as the leading, company or brand in the marketplace. But it's not just, I feel like our lane is not just that, but it's also having the most professional. So when we come back to this education thing, one of the things we talk about is a lot of brokers say, oh yeah, we want to be the best, but then they don't have training, or they have high fees or cost to training, which are just, stumbling blocks for agents to engage, especially the newer agents who haven't established their pipeline in their business yet, and then you're giving more and more
free marketing. I mean, free marketing, exposure, and training.
So you got to remove those excuses and barriers for people for agents to engage and learn.
Right.
So if you really want to be the best, everything we do should be driving towards that goal. So the acquiring is, well, who's out there? Who's doing a good job, a great job? Who's good people, have that integrity and the focus that our agents have. So I don't want to acquire every company, but I want to, if I see an opportunity
that makes sense.
Right, they fit with our company culture, and they would benefit from our size, scale, and scope, and our tools, systems, and support. And I think that's the opportunity, bringing great people together and growing.
Right.
So.
Ever taking that next step and keep going.
Yes, exactly.
That's what I like, yes.
What tools and systems do you most like plugging into that American Homes, from the JET platform, as we call it, our JET platform? Oh,
the CMA, as far as Moxie, creating custom CMAs, able to put in specific things that will connect with, who we're working with, depending on who we're working with. Our marketing, as far as our contact list and how we can create custom, flyers or connections or email lists and stuff like that to constantly keep in communication so people don't forget, hey, there's Nancianne who sold me that house 20 years ago, blah, blah, blah. So we want to be a top of mind awareness to people. Yes. So it helps us, send holiday cards, reminders, all that good stuff.
What just tapped into was one of the most overlooked segments of our business, of a successful agents get repeat business. I always say referrals happen by design, not by accident.
That's most of my business. Like really 95% of my business is repeat referrals.
So it means you're doing a good job, because, you're lucky if people appreciate or compliment you if you do a good job. But if you do a bad job, you hear from it and they tell everybody. So.
No idea. Word of mouth gets around pretty easily.
Yes, it travels faster on the bad side. So you have to be, committed to giving the consumer a superior experience.
Absolutely.
Number one, but then so many consumers, I forget what the exact number, like 90-something% of them say they would use the same agent again, but less than 30% of them actually do. So it's that disconnect, where a period of time goes, whether it's 7, 8, 10, 15 years, and then they forgot who their agent was.
Right.
So how do you stay connected to your sphere?
I text people on holidays. I check in if there's an event happening, if there was like a flood or something like that, and have clients in a flood zone, I'll check, is everything okay? I send out calendars every year. I give calls depending on the people. Some people more texting than phones, but I really try to just reach out and check in. How are the kids? How's the dog? What's the family up to? Just to say hi and just to check in, to let them know that, hey, I've been thinking about you. What's going on in your life? And just have that rapport. I have clients, since day one that I'm still in contact with, and that we have great, and they refer me business if they have people that are looking to buy, sell, or relocate. Right. So that's the beauty of it. It's the connection. It's really not about closing a deal and making money.
Right.
It's really about the long-term, connection that you have with those people.
Right.
And they become your friends, really.
Yeah. I always say that if you try to sell people stuff, they spot you out.
Oh, they sniff you right out.
Right, exactly.
Yeah.
But if you try to help people,
right,
the money takes care of itself.
Yeah.
It's,
yeah. I have people who call me, I just have this question, whatever. I'm like, no problem. Oh, my brother had, all right, have them call me, no problem. And I'll call, even if it's not even my area, I'll just give them general information that I know, or I'll get them to someone who can help them.
Right.
That's what I love. I like seeing a smile on people's face and just like, oh, thank you so much. I mean, those are the little things that I love that I appreciate. It's not about, oh, I have to get a next client. Where am I going to get the next client from? Right. I feel like if you put, good karma out there, good juju, it comes back to you.
It does.
Does.
I
always believe that, and I firmly believe that. You put the good out, it'll come back to you.
Yeah. Do you ask your sphere of influence for referrals?
I do. I just been really blessed and grateful that every year I have a flow of business, and I'm appreciative, but I do have to, this market is a bit tough because there's not enough inventory. We have a lot of buyers, but not enough sellers. So I'll call, people who I think might be selling or relocating, and hey, do you know anyone? So I do reach out and stuff. So,
it's people, who are in sales kind of think it's intuitive that people should know that referrals are important. And yet people who aren't in sales, it's not so obvious to them. So I do think it's important that we include or make it clear that referrals are important to us and that we appreciate yours.
Right.
So it shouldn't be done in a pushy way, but in a nice way.
Right. If you know anyone, I'm here for you. If you have any questions, you know anyone, please keep me in mind.
Right. Yeah. If they don't know it's important to you, then and they forget about it, then is it their fault?
Right.
Is it their fault?
Right.
How dare you?
Exactly.
How you dare you not pass my name on?
Right. Exactly. Or again, everyone, with COVID and everything that happened, everyone seemed to jump in and get their real estate license. Yeah. Right. And so everyone was like, oh, I know an agent now. But really, what sets you apart from just all those other agents? So,
so what sets Nancianne Genduso apart from other agents?
Oh, it's my negotiation skills. I love negotiating. That's a big part for me. Okay. I love, showing people like, why do you need to pick my buyer if it's my buyer? Yeah. This is what we have. This is what we put in place. So, having, not just a pre-approval, but a commitment in place. The terms are super important. It's not just about the number. So we have to come up with a customized game plan for each buyer. And then when I present it, this is all the good things. We can do the inspection within 48 hours. We can close within 30 days as soon as title's clear. We have the commitment. We are ready to go. If the seller needs time, we can give them extra time. So all these things, I always try to think outside the box. Sometimes we'll give a credit, towards the seller's moving to again, just be that little extra, something different that people might not think about. So I always try to come up with something a little bit different to try to sweeten, what the actual offer is to make sure that, everyone's here. What's going to make us go, yeah, right there. And they're going to say, okay, we like you, and have, Bruce Biersack from Contour Mortgage. I always have him call the agents to verify everything, to be a step ahead of him so they don't have to reach out. They already reached out. Tell them that they're ready to go. Everything checks all the boxes and we're ready to go. Yeah. So
what? One of the most overlooked portion of negotiations, as you just said, is everyone thinks it's all about the final number. And yes, the dollars and cents are important. But you got to always remember you're negotiating price and terms.
Absolutely.
So what's the likelihood we're going to get there? What type of mortgage you're going through? Are we going to have appraisal problems?
Exactly. And especially in this market, the appraisal is huge. Everyone's waiving appraisal, waiving inspections, which I think is crazy. But, that's another thing. As a listing agent, when I get offers in, I'm shocked. People send me offers. Don't even call the follow-up. Did you get it? Not even like, oh, where am I? Nothing. They just send you offers. I'm like, what is going on here? And it's like very strange.
There's no doubt the right agent negotiating you increases your odds. I know exactly what you're talking. I've seen these agents. They're like ghost agents. Yeah. Well, it feels like this often offer that shows up.
Right.
And no one knows anything about it.
I'm like, who is this? And what bank are they using? And what's the terms? And there's nothing written in the offer. It's literally like, here's the amount. And if you get the pre-approval, you're lucky. Right. And then there's nothing else written. Okay, so like, when can you close?
Right.
What's,
and they're competing, and they're competing for a house against other offers, and they're surprised that they didn't win.
Right. And they're like, and then they call you like 3 days later, and it's like, well, how come I didn't hear from you? It's very bizarre. So anyhow, it's just taking, different approach to making you stand out.
I want to tap onto one other thing real quickly. So, because you were talking about the negotiator, right, and or negotiating skills. You were recently involved in a TV show.
Yes.
The Negotiator Lux.
Negotiator Lux on Reveal.net. It's a streaming service. I was called by a producer. They were looking online. They developed a show called Negotiators Lux that talks about people, places, and properties.
Yeah.
And so they took agents from across the country and they highlighted people, places, and properties, whether it's restaurants or a house or some type of event that's going on. So I was called by a producer, went through a whole process, was on the show for the first season. At the end of the first season, I was called by the owner and they offered me my own show, which
is awesome.
Awesome, but I was like dumbfounded. I was like, oh my God, my own show, what does that mean? So my new show coming out, it's called Extraordinary New York. It'll also be on Reveal.net. You can get it from Fire TV, Roku, Apple, Android, and it's about people's passions and how do we find people's passions and bring community together? How do we find our extraordinary in our ordinary lives?
Love it.
That's coming out soon, and hope everyone tunes in. Actually, we should have you on the show. We should do a whole thing on Coldwell Banker and
right.
Heart of American Homes and the foundation that you have and giving back as part of your series. It's work hard, play hard, give back. So
okay, you guys heard it first here. Well, I got my invite. I'm waiting.
Got my invite right here. I
got evidence.
That's right. Right here.
So, that sounds exciting. It is.
What
was the most aha moment when you got involved with the TV show?
It was just the fact that I had created a show that I wanted to create, that I had creative freedom, and to really collaborate with people. Again, the whole collaboration and coming up with what the show, what I want the feel of the show to be. I wanted it to be happy, uplifting. A lot of times you look on social media and these shows, it's all about who's got what, drama. Yeah. I didn't want that. I wanted something to be like people are getting inspired. Let's inspire people. Let's bring people together. That. Let's bring community together. Let's do a referral from a friend, a reading in a paper, something that sparks your interest. How do you take that and make it into your passion and just really share it with the world and have people just know about it?
So Nancy, part of our podcast is, not only work hard, you shared some really good insights on the real estate side, and we know it's a lot of hard work, but
absolutely,
we play hard. And I think with play hard, we like to kind of focus on the human side. Sometimes I think as realtors, we're this sales community and the consumer or the outside people don't really understand the human side of it. So what does Nancianne do to relax or to have fun?
Well, I'm old school Italian. I like to mow my own lawn with my little black Scots. No, I was kidding.
The sandals, the open toes.
I know. And Denise makes fun of me all the time. She's like, oh my God, really? You're out there mowing the lawn? No, I like to do that. I like to garden. I do.
I knew it. Tomatoes.
I like to garden. Oh, yes. I have a fig tree, herbs and stuff. So I like gardening. I like mowing my own lawn. A big Scotch and cigar person. So I like to, have friends over on the porch in the backyard and just relax and unwind. It's amazing how you connect with people. I've traveled all over the world and connecting with people over Scotch and a cigar. It's amazing. And how, even though we're worlds, different, that we're very much same.
Yeah.
We all have a commonality.
Yes.
I have a 1959 Morris Minor, an antique car that I like to take out and take a spin in. So I kind of, those, I like a good meal. So
you got some great hobbies there.
I like a good meal. I like to go out with people, so, little foodie,
Yeah.
So it's like,
Favorite restaurant?
Ooh, I like meat in Rockville Center, Izaka Meat Bar in Rockville Center. But I have like a open palate. I really like a lot of different things.
So it doesn't matter if it's seafood or...
Yeah, it doesn't matter. Well, all right, let me correct myself. I don't like really fishy fish.
Yeah, okay.
So I should correct myself. But I have a good appreciation for
fine foods.
For fun. For yummy food. Yes, exactly. How about you? What's your favorite place?
There's so many good ones.
Yes,
yes. But I also like that Northern Italian. So sometimes when people talk about Italian food, so you'll appreciate that. You go to a place and if it's drowned in tomato sauce and mozzarella, then it's Italian. But I'm like, if you get into really Northern Italian food, it's really a lot more seafood and stuff like that. So,
absolutely,
and you can get some really good stuff. So,
well,
so I love.
Yeah, so Italian food here. I went to Italy many times, and my last one was in Sicily, and they have such good food. I mean, it could be like a piece of tomato on a thing. It's like the finest thing you ever tasted. I mean, everything is just so fresh.
They use fresh ingredients instead
like
of
amazing.
the preservatives that we have.
Yeah, absolutely. Such a night and day difference.
Yes. So let's pivot a little bit since we're talking about like, some of the home life and stuff. So you and your wife, Denise, have a son, right? So,
Absolutely.
so
yes. Isaiah.
So tell us about Isaiah.
So Denise always wanted a child. And so obviously we're a non-traditional family. So we tried other alternative ways of getting her pregnant and it just didn't happen. So we decided to go the adoption route. So once we decided and agreed upon that, we said, okay, how are we going to do it? Because there's public and private adoption. So we went the private route. So we went through an agency.
Okay.
And we had to put in paperwork, which is quite extensive. If you're not familiar with the adoption process, it is quite a lengthy process.
Yeah.
They do background checks. You have to go through interviews, social workers. It's quite extensive, and the paperwork is quite extensive. So basically, you have to make videos. So this particular agency, you create a video, and then the video is shown to prospective birth moms, and they watch the video, and they basically choose you from the video.
Wow.
And then the paperwork is so detailed because there's a lot of questions related to what if the birth mother, had a drink in her first trimester? What if she smoked crack in the third trimester? Like, there's very specific questions that you have to answer. And so that kind of hung us up for a little while, that process of trying to figure out, oh my God, do we say yes to this and no to that? So that was a little process. Then finally, when we put our paperwork in, we're like, all right, it's going to take, it could take a year or it could take 2 years. We've heard stories. We literally put the paperwork in and they said, okay, have your phone, if we have to call you, any question. Denise was working. She was with the family. She does educational consulting, and she's also a professor at Queens College. Her phone rang, and she's like, oh, I'll get to it. And she was like, oh, you know what? Maybe I should just check the message. The message was basically from the social worker saying, oh, give me a call when you get a chance. So she calls back, and the woman's like, oh, you're having a baby. And she's like, yes, I know. And she's like, no, you're having a baby.
Really?
And she's like, what? And she's like, yeah, they're due at the end of, July. And then basically it was like 2 weeks, we got the call and they're like, no, she's having it now. And like, what? And we're like, so it was like this crazy storm.
So he was a newborn.
We had him day one, yes.
Wow.
From Pennsylvania. They have like a 10-day wait period. So we had to have Isaiah and then we had to keep him in state for 10 days until they released us out of the state. So, it was a beautiful thing. We got to stay in a hotel, the three of us, we had family come up to visit. And so we just fell in love with him the first day. And now he's 13 and not only is he African-American, but he's going to be like 6-something. He's huge. We didn't even think of that. We're like, oh, non-traditional. We have a black child, and he's going to be like 6-something.
So he's twice the size.
Oh my God! Already at 13, he looks like he's literally 19. He's a big, broad guy. But he's amazing.
So how hard is it? Like I guess they don't really give us much training on how to be a parent but I think sometimes when you go into the pregnancy, you have 9 months to think about it.
Right.
So wasn't it like, wow, here it is.
Trial by fire. It was like literally like, you're having a baby. And then we got on the phone and started going, help. He's like, you get this. We get to the store, buy my baby.
Yeah.
Getting all the stuff, packing everything, getting the room set up.
Yeah.
It was just like, it was a whirlwind, but we were supported by our family and friends.
Yeah.
It was a beautiful thing. And they all, came through for us and got us all together.
Wow.
And now he's into surfing, he's into karate, he likes boxing. And
when's he getting his real estate license?
I believe me, I already tapped that. I was like, listen, what do you think? You're gonna come, we could be a little team. He's like, oh, here we go again. But yeah, he's a great kid.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah.
That's great.
So
it's a heartwarming story. I'm so happy to hear it. I've met him. He's a fine young gentleman. So
thank you so much. I really appreciate that. He is a great kid, and I'm blessed. So
yeah, that's fantastic.
Yeah.
So Nancy, can you share with us maybe a funny childhood memory, something that maybe shaped you or affected you?
Ooh, I would have to say it's not really funny, but having an older brother, there's always that sibling, not rivalry, but the siblings sometimes have a little something, It's
I'm one of 7 kids, and I'm in the middle, so yes. So again, I know what you're talking about.
Yeah. So my brother, again, he was 2 years older than me, and a lot of times he watched me. In the neighborhood that we grew up in, we were always at the Mr. and Mrs. Nobumoto house, which is in Queens Village, where they lived, and there was a park there, and we always played in the park. And then we'd always go back to Mrs. Nobumoto's house, and usually they would give this lovely Japanese meal, which that's how I learned to use chopsticks very proficiently. But they had a basement, and of course, little sister always, wants to be in with what's going on. So I guess I must have ticked them off with something. I don't even know what it was. But in the basement, they had a ladder, and basically, I was afraid of the dark. So this is how cruel they were. They tied me up to the ladder, and literally like a Hawkeye tied with ladder, and they went upstairs and shut the light and left me tied up in the basement on the ladder.
Ouch.
So how cruel was that? Yes. Thank you, Michael, for the trauma that was inflicted on me.
Wait, I want to be clear. Not this Michael.
No, not this one.
Brother Michael.
Brother Michael. But I love you. You know that. But yes, I know. It always happens.
So how long did they leave you there for?
I don't know. It felt like an eternity.
3 days?
It's what it felt like. Oh my, get me out of here. But yeah. And I still have a fear of the dark. But whatever. But yes. But that was the one little thing of a memorable experience. I wouldn't say it was funny. But I guess it was a little funny because if you're on the outside looking in, it was a pretty funny thing.
Yeah.
But yes.
I could see how that could scare you.
Yeah. But that's again, doesn't kill you, make you stronger. There you go.
Yes, it does.
So yeah.
Yes, it does.
There you go.
So one of the things I want to pivot into is we talk about working hard and playing hard, but we also talk about giving back. So charity or community service, and sometimes people all think immediately it's always dollars and cents, and your time is hugely valuable. So what does giving back mean to you?
Just taking the time to be available to people, if they need support in something, to help them with the support, or if they're not sure of something that they want to do, event or charity, to just be available to help them in any way that they need. Yeah. The Heart of American Homes, very much involved with since the beginning.
Yeah.
Aside from that, I do Children International. I've adopted.
What is Children International?
Children International is an organization all over the world that basically you get to sponsor a child in need in an undeveloped country. So for the last, I don't know, it's over 20-something years, I've sponsored children from Ecuador.
Okay.
So after, depending on what age I get them at. So basically you write letters and they write letters back to you, and you send a monthly donation to help them, with the clothing, education, just to support the families. So I've been with them for a very long time.
Great.
And just other charities that people, have to just try to be a part of it and try to support for walks or, again, not just monetary, but donations and whatever else they might need.
Yeah.
So you always want to just try to be available to people, in their time of need, or again, if you're just, having somebody who unfortunately passed away and you're having a foundation or something.
Yeah. Having been given the opportunity to form Heart of American Homes Foundation was one of the biggest joys. Really, it's something that I guess when you're younger, you don't kind of think in those terms like, that's something that we're going to do. But what I love about it is that every office elects a member to the board of directors. So the agents really have ownership of this. So, and literally 100% of every dollar raised goes back into the community. So it's housed completely within the American Homes offices, rent-free. There's no paid employees. So there's literally no overhead.
Right.
It's
Everyone's
all
donating their time.
Their time, their money, and when we do fundraisers. So yeah, we tend to raise in excess of $100,000 a year, and 100% of
I know, it's amazing. Look at this. Heart American Homes Foundation, donate. So tell them one thing that you did for a family that it was a need. So something that happened this year that you were able to do.
There's a simple process. If somebody's in need, they get submit an application, and it does get vetted by a committee member of board members. They want to make sure that people actually have a need. But
absolutely.
And because it's a private foundation for local, we don't like to sponsor other charities per se. And we don't give out more than $5,000 to any one event. But like there was a person who had a medical problem and was on disability and had a very expensive medication. Okay. But she wanted to go back into the workforce. She lost her Medicaid, which is a pharmacy, which paid for the medicine. But then she had another episode, and she obviously couldn't work all of a sudden. And it takes 6 weeks before we'll put you back on. And they couldn't afford the medicine. So we paid like 6 weeks worth of
the
medication, which was in the thousands of dollars, by the way.
I'm sure.
So that is a very important gap to fill for somebody who,
literally their life depends on it.
Yeah, exactly.
Absolutely.
So it's things that you kind of don't really even anticipate that happens, what they say, man plans and God laughs,
Right. And it was also a house fire that you also covered for a family who lost a house during a fire. So those are other types of events that you can.
Yeah, for some of the expenses in the short term until the insurance kicks in. Yeah, those are all type of episodes. Yeah.
Yeah. So if you have anyone in need that, submit an application for Heart American Homes. You never know. Listen.
Yeah. Exactly.
You could be the next one to be covered.
We do accept donations, and it's Heart of American Homes Foundation.com.
There you go. Easy to remember.
Yes, exactly. Very, very simple. So it's definitely a passion of ours, and so happy that we're able to do it. But again, collectively, we do so much more than individually, and that's really what the real opportunity is. I love the way the agents rally around it. Every event, and how much fun have you been to the night at the races?
Oh my God, the casino night. Oh my God, I felt like I was like, woo, give me some more chips. I was ready to go.
Yes, it was so much fun, and that's the best part about it is we're really doing a wonderful thing. By having fun.
Absolutely. See, you can merge the two very beautifully, right?
Yes.
Have fun and raise money.
Right. Play hard and give back.
Exactly.
All in one event.
Exactly.
So that's great. So, well, I really appreciate, Nancy, and that you took the time to be here tonight. And
absolutely, it's my pleasure.
Be part of our show.
I am grateful, and I thank you very much for inviting me. And
if someone is interested in working with you or reaching out to you, how do they reach you? How do I get Nancianne?
You can on social media, on Instagram, it's Genduso Nancianne. It's just my last name, first name. On Facebook, LinkedIn, it's just my Nancianne Genduso. You can call me on the phone, 917-445-0687. But I'm easily to find on social media. I have a YouTube channel, same thing, Nancianne. You can look up my name. So I'll be happy to help you buying, selling, relocating, investing. I'm here for you every step of the way.
That's awesome.
Thank you.
And you do great work.
Thank you.
You're not going to find anyone who's going to care more than Nancianne.
Thank you so much.
No, thank you. So wait, before we go.
Oh, the drop the mic question?
It's time for the drop the mic question.
If you could expose one lie about the real estate industry as a whole, what would it be?
It's easy. The lie, it's easy. The lie about real estate, it's easy.
Yeah.
It's definitely, I like that one. It's an easy business. And it's definitely not, you have to have some thick skin. You have to have a lot of, chutzpah and drive and passion.
Don't you see, like, there's a certain percentage of people seem to get into our business because they watch like an HGTV and like, oh, I like houses.
That's right.
Oh, I like decor. And it's like, they get in and like, wow, this is work.
Oh, yeah. It's not easy. Yeah. People just see that snippet and they're like, oh, I could do that. I can show them a house and then it's sold. But no, behind the scenes, there's a lot going on. And if you don't do it and you don't do it right, it can easily go wrong. Yeah. And this is someone's biggest investment of their life.
So important to get it right.
It is so important to get it right because it's your name and your reputation, and you can really, make it go south for somebody.
Very much so.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, I, again, so appreciate you being here and sharing with us today. So just remember to like and subscribe and pay attention for our next episode that's going to be coming up. So thank you for joining us today.